they're still winning games. And they're the champions, and they're the ones that you're trying to compete against. I feel that you should have gone in there and just have no fear to really impose yourself, to go after them.
Well, Liverpool continue their perfect start to this brand new Premier League season with a 1-0 win against Arsenal today at Anfield. Dominik Szoboszlai with a fantastic free kick that was the difference, Nigel. It wasn't pretty again, was it, for Liverpool? But yet again, they find the way to get the job done. Yes,
they found a way to get the job done. And that's something you can say when you're the current Premier League champions. It doesn't have to be pretty, but that's what separates them from everyone else, that they always find a way to win. And that's what good teams do. For me, the story of today's game was Szoboszlai, the goal scorer himself. He was the fantastic makeshift right back, if you will, scored a world-class free kick. One of the only players that was really trying to push the emphasis in the envelope, because when you look back at that game, overall, it wasn't a great game of football. For me, it came across as two teams that were trying to be too over-tactical, and more so from Arsenal's perspective, a team that was playing not to lose, and then tried to make changes to influence the game at later on stages, but it was done a little too late by that time there for me. Liverpool, overall, you'd have to say, were the slightly better side. But again, in the 3 games we've seen Liverpool so far this season, they haven't been great. But they've got the result. They found the way to get the win. And it's that winning mentality that's going to continue to build and go in momentum with them. And as the season goes on, I think the chemistry situation with Liverpool is only going to get better. But I felt, for me, with Arsenal, they probably could have been a bit more aggressive from the start, and Mikel Arteta will have to answer some questions in the team selection that he went into this game.
It's a business. It's result-oriented. We've always had this conversation, right? And they win against Newcastle with seconds left in the game, minutes left in the game, right? They get all 3 points. They do it again tonight, where they were not particularly, we're not going to be oohing and ahhing about the way that they played their football. I think on the flip side, for Arsenal, they go into a game away from home, difficult, playing against Liverpool, where they say, okay, points okay. They're quite pragmatic. It was 4-4-2 through large periods of the time of the game, where they said, okay, we'll be organized. If we walk away with a point, this is not a bad point. And then you get struck by lightning, and then it's hard to get out of the gates again and hard to go for it. So in hindsight, would Arsenal go back and say, could we have been more aggressive in different moments with our substitutions, with our selections? Probably.
They should have been.
But it's the way they decided to go for the game. They decided a point might be enough. We'll be defensively sound, be careful in the transition.
But that's not the mindset that you want, because then again, it leads to questions to Mikel Arteta.
In hindsight,
when you look at Liverpool's 2 performances, you should be able to see, right, Bournemouth, they struggled. Newcastle, they struggled. What did those 2 teams do? They went after Liverpool. They went after them. They were relentless, high press, high tempo. Arsenal didn't really go after Liverpool like those other 2 teams did. And when you talk about the Premier League title right now, these are the 2 teams that people are saying are the favourites to win the title. I felt it's an opportunity missed by Arsenal today, where I felt that they should have been aggressive. They should have believed in themselves more, Mikel Arteta and his players, to say, we can go after them, because Liverpool have not been convincing. We cannot sit here and say Liverpool have looked convincing in all 3 wins, but what we can give them credit for is they got the job done.
Who would you have liked to see, Nigel, if you didn't love the team selection from Mikel Arteta?
I mean, people would say that, okay, Eze, why pay so much money for Eze and not start him? I think Eze, you could have started him. Some people argued back, oh, he's only been there for 2 or 3 games. Okay, but he hasn't come from a foreign league. He's domestic in the sense of he's played in England. He was doing great for Crystal Palace. He's played at Anfield, played at all these places, and we've seen what he's capable of. He knows the league and knows these players. So I think, yes, you might see it as throwing him in the deep end, but he's a quality player. He's something different. I would have started him. If you didn't want to start him, you've got young Nwaneri, where you could have started for this Arsenal side, to really a bit more aggressive, a bit more pushing in attacking and creative end of things, because Liverpool back 4 is still working on the chemistry with the new players. And you had Szoboszlai playing at right back. I feel it's an opportunity missed for Arsenal to really be aggressive, to say, we are serious for this Premier League title race, and we're going to go on there and impose ourselves.
I think you're still going to a new group. Yeah, Eze, no one's going to doubt his quality, his price tag, and that he can play in the Premier League and make the difference for sure. But you're still, what is it saying to the other players if you take him and say, hey, poof, you're out of the team, boom, he just shows up and he walks into the team. So I understand the selection in that respect. I want to ask you, what would you think if it was 0-0 today? What would you say about Arsenal?
If it was 0-0, I'll probably say, it's not a bad point. But the thing is,
that's what they tried.
They still lost. Well, we can't say it. Because there's a lot of what ifs. This is the reality of it, is they still lost.
But you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yes, but I still feel that at least you could see something to be aggressive, because, again, we're not looking at a Liverpool side where we're saying, whoa, I don't see no weaknesses there. I think that these guys are the real deal. There's a lot of teams still very questionable in that top 4 in the Premier League race. But What I do see is a vulnerable Liverpool side who are still trying to work on their chemistry to really get a united front, but they're still winning games. And they're the champions, and they're the ones that you're trying to compete against. I feel that you should have gone in there and just have no fear to really impose yourself, to go after them, which they've struggled with other teams. And Arsenal have a solid defence where they could have kept it out, and it was a world-class.
And now they have Gyökeres as well, who has got 2 goals so far this season, Grella. But
not in the big moments.
Yes, in the big moments, we haven't seen that come to fruition yet. Is that a concern for you, or is it still too early and he's got to have time to adjust and adapt to his new club?
No, I think it's still too early for sure. I do think Nigel has a point. Like, if Arsenal went for more games from the start to finish, they have the best defense in the league, right? They're good at set pieces.
Yes.
They're organized. They beat Real Madrid because of the way that they defended and the way that they were able to hit on the counter. I do think that way of playing is more suited for knockout football, for Champions League football. When you get to the later stages, I think it's less suited for Premier League games where you're going to play, 38 games you play in the end, and you have to go and push games, and you have to go for games. Like in nights like tonight, if they went for it in hindsight, yeah, of course, maybe they go and get 3 points, maybe they're more aggressive, maybe they put Liverpool, some of the doubts that they have in their team, put them on their back foot. I know Newcastle put Liverpool on their back foot quite easily at times in that game, so yeah, in hindsight, they should have probably done that. Over the course of 38 games, that's probably a better way to play football, but they're not set up that way. They're set up to be this 4-4-2, really hard to play against, so that's the way they go about it. But I think the other way is probably better to get points.
And this is a point that you bring is so good, because if you look at these two teams today, people would say that they trust Arsenal's defence more so than Liverpool's from what you've seen. Arsenal definitely do have the more solid defence. So if you've got that solid defence, trust yourself in the attacking sense. Yeah. Really go after them, go after Liverpool. And they didn't. And the biggest worry now is you lose Saliba. We don't know what the injury situation is. That could be another big loss for Arsenal. With also Saka still being out for a few weeks. And now you come away from Anfield, you lose 1-0 to a Liverpool side that didn't perform out of this world. And now you've got more questions to answer.
Than answers. Yeah, it felt like a tense showing, didn't it, between both of the teams. Obviously, Arsenal last season, they tried to chase, but Liverpool in the end ran away with the Premier League title by a mile. Are both of these teams, Grella, improved to what we saw last season with the new signings?
Yeah, maybe on paper, right? But I haven't seen a Liverpool. I think last year, at the beginning of last year, we looked at a Liverpool and we're like, whoa, this team's special. This team's got so many tools. They play really good football, great in transition. Mo Salah was on the flames. Now you look at them, and I'm not convinced against the performance against Newcastle, where they're up a man away from home and they concede 2 goals. That's not Liverpool really something you see every day with them. The performance even today was quite a sloppy match. I think there was not that many chances created in the thick of it. And so Arsenal as well. You wonder, with Gyökeres, are they better on paper? Yes, but have we seen him really make the difference yet? Not yet. It's really more of the same. So we just see an organized Arsenal that really you wonder, okay, is it going to make the difference? Is Gyökeres going to make the difference? If they do with that defense, yes, then Arsenal will be improved for sure.
With Liverpool, it's a chemistry thing. That's going to take time. But the one thing that's working in their favour is they're getting the job done. They are winning. The confidence is going to grow. The chemistry is going to get better. Arsenal, yes, on paper, but still for what the big moments, and this is a big moment. These are the games that you have to win. You want to be Premier League title winners. This is a big moment, and they fell up short.
It's basically a 6-pointer, isn't it, if these are the 2 favourites to win the Premier League? Have you still got Liverpool as the Premier League favourites?
They have to be from what we've seen.
Yeah. Were they your pick to go into the season?
They were my pick to win the Premier League again. And then let's not forget the transfer window is still open. There is still 1 or 2 players who have been linked with Liverpool that could potentially still get there. I just feel that they're going to get better. They haven't been great. That's the sign of a championship team. When you're not playing well and you haven't been great, but you're still winning. That is the sign of a top team.
Would you say you learned more about Liverpool today than you did about Arsenal in that aspect?
Definitely. The fact that you could put Szoboszlai into a right midfield slot to do a job and have a great game and be probably the best player on the pitch, not just because of the world-class goal, but be the player that's been more aggressive, willing to take risks, willing to make those passes. You definitely learn a lot more about Liverpool and Arsenal. I think for me, Arsenal is still playing within them shell. They need to be able to come out of that shell now and really go after them.
Well, it's a perfect start yet again, isn't it, for Arne Slot and Liverpool? 9 points from a possible 9 as they are at the top of the Premier League standings.